Hello, in this recording, I will talk about how to optimize the loading times of compensation worksheets and executive review screens in SuccessFactors compensation. Before I begin, I would like to show you this little extension for Chrome, which I am sure also exists in Firefox, which is called page load time. And when you click on it, every time a page loads in your browser, you can see the details of what loaded and how long it took to load it. So this will be a very useful tool through this recording to keep track of. The first thing when you are working with the compensation module and you're about to launch a new compensation cycle in production is you want to make sure that all of the testing worksheets that you've launched prior to launching the final round of worksheets, which in typical cycles is several rounds of worksheets get created so that you can test the data, the comp ratio, the eligibility of employees. So it's very common for system administrators to use to launch a round of worksheets and then to delete them from managed worksheets. So depending on how many employees you have, this can lead to several dozens of thousands of compensation worksheets being deleted during this testing phase before the actual worksheets are launched. And those worksheets, they stay in the back end of SuccessFactors. They never get fully purged until you launch a job that purges them. And they can have an impact on the performance of the system. So the first thing to do is to completely purge these deleted worksheets. So as compensation administrator or as a system administrator, the way to do that is to go to data retention management. And in data retention management, click on create a new purge request. Here you want to select purge compensation and variable pay templates or data. And then something really important, you only want to select only purge deleted forms. Then select the template you want to purge data for, in this case 2021 salary planning. And one thing that's you have to enter is an approver's name, but you can enter your own name as an approver. So in this case, we're logged in as comp admin. And so we're going to enter comp admin as an approver and click on launch immediately. You get the system notification in green here, and you can go to the purge request monitor to approve the request, which will trigger and process the request. So you sometimes need to refresh the page until it starts showing. Oh, here it is. So it goes in the request pending final approval, and you can approve the request here. And then it goes here in purge results and discontinued requests. So once it is processed, it says processed here, and that action alone, in many cases, will increase, especially the executive review loading times. We can refresh one more time to see if it has been processed. Usually, it's really quick. Okay, so it says completed here. So that would be the first thing you want to do. I've seen composition cycle preparations where hundreds of thousands of deleted worksheets were in the system, and in that case, it does have an impact on performance. The second thing you want to do as a comp administrator is check a box in advanced settings for your template, which will only reload data in the compensation worksheets when the system administrator decides to have the data reloaded. And we'll come back to the different ways you can have this data reloaded, but it's under advanced settings for your template. And if you scroll to the bottom, you will find a checkbox that says only reload user data on mass update. So let me take a few seconds to explain what this feature does. Automatically, when a planner opens a worksheet from their inbox or the executive review in SuccessFactors, unless you have this checkbox checked, the system will always try to refresh the data from Employee Central as of the template's effective date. So if the template's effective date is February 1st and a compensation administrator or anyone has changed data for one of the employees on the worksheet effective January 25th, then the system will reflect it on the worksheet because the effective date of the template is after the effective date of the change. So by checking this box, what we're forcing the compensation template to do is to not reload that data until a mass update gets triggered by the comp administrator. So by mass update, so what does that mean in the example we just took? In the example we just took, it means that even if the data on January 25th gets updated in Employee Central, it won't show on the worksheet for the planner unless the system administrator triggers a mass update. So mass updates are triggered from Manage Worksheets under Update All Worksheets here. So every time you launch an Update All Worksheets job, without checking any of the specific boxes here that have specific purposes, um, that job alone will refresh the data on those worksheets. And only in that case will it do so. And by checking that box, it will increase the performance in loading times of the composition worksheets and of the executive review. So these are the two main things you can do as a system administrator. This job we just discussed to update all worksheets can also be scheduled to run overnight. This is some leading practice that most customers do during the cycle. And one last thing that we can talk about here on this topic is the design of your template itself. In design worksheet, whenever possible, and it may not always be the case, you want to make sure that in the columns of your template you have the least number of complex formulas. So a complex formula, and I'm trying to find an example here. I'm not too sure I will have one, but we can take a look at a simple formula in this case for budget calculation. A complex formula would be um, this type of formula, but with lots of if-then conditions that will pull the country of an employee and a combination of country and pay grade, for example, and will return a specific value in that case. If you have a formula in your template in design worksheet that has thousands of if-then conditions, then um, that will slow down the system whenever planners try to open the worksheet, and that is not something that the checkbox we saw previously can fix, because these are forced or defaulted formulas that will always run when you try to open the executive review or the worksheet. So it may, in some cases, you could move these formulas to a lookup table or to an MDF object instead of having them hard-coded here in design worksheet. So to get a solution check, you should probably reach out to SAP or a partner company to make sure that there's to see if there's anything that can be done at that level. Um, so this concludes the two main ways you can improve performance without changing your configuration, plus this little additional tip on the design worksheet aspect of it. I hope this was useful, and please feel free to comment or ask any questions directly. Thank you.